an arrival or arriving to a place, on one hand, is something that we always do. It's like a situation that allows us to start something, because you arrive and you might have been in this place before also, but you're arriving, so you're starting something, which is something that happens in life all the time. But at the same time, it was our arrival in Montreal. So this is adapting to a new place and discovering a new place. And sometimes you feel that you already know something, but then you get a surprise that you realize you don't really know the place. So that's it. Yeah.
So I'm from Vancouver originally, and I moved to Montreal right before the pandemic started, and I was feeling very homesick. I didn't even realize that homesickness is an actual sickness, and you feel it affects you physically and mentally. So I would stay up at nights and try and talk to people, and catch up, and try and stay on top of things back home. But I realized I was sleeping later and later every night and trying to talk to, like, whether it's my family or something. And one night I realized that I was staying up so late here, and even though they're 3 hours behind, people one by one were dropping and going to bed there, and the last person I talked to was my mom, and then she said goodnight and went to bed, and I realized there was nobody else awake in the world to talk to. So I decided I would just sit and write some music. We all come from like traditional backgrounds in music. Amichai plays tango music, although he's very versatile and plays many different things. Avud comes from a classical Arabic background, and I grew up playing Persian classical music. But we also wanted to use this opportunity because it's a unique, I think, arrangement of instruments to really develop a new voice and to kind of go beyond these existing traditions and see how we can develop something new and original. So it's been a lot of fun, and to get here, for me, it means that it's working up till now.
For Burkan, it was just, I mean, I'll leave it to the listener to interpret, but it was just fury. I wrote this furious piece. I put it together in different time signatures and different combinations, and I knew there was gonna be a deaf solo in the middle to just like bring it down. And I just brought it the next day, and I handed it over, and it's evolved since then. And I think it's ironic that it makes me smile now.
When we write music, it's basically what we're doing is we're setting kind of a proposal or an opportunity for the listeners to feel something. That's music. Like, you can have other components in music, like more intellectual, whatever, but basically what music does the best is to make you feel something. It brings you into a certain world. Sometimes you can't put it into words, but you feel things. So when we write music, we can think about what we feel and how we want to make other people feel, or how we share that with other people. And so I think that each piece has a different story, and of course that it's subjective, so you can't know for sure what the listener is going to feel, but you can at least say, well, this is the proposal, this is what we bring, and then each person has a different experience. And I think if the music is sincere, people really get what you wanted to say. based on this image of snow falling of flowers in the spring, which is something that I saw for the first time here in Montreal, which is amazing. It's really, really beautiful. But at the same time, I was feeling very, very lonely. I tried to bring all this mixture of emotions of feeling lonely, which is not just sadness. Sometimes it's sad, but sometimes it's like a lot of energy, but you're still lonely. And yeah, that was the idea of Neige de Printemps.
How to define home is it's very subjective. It's very metaphorical. Like some people live in the same home, all their lives, so that's home to them. I don't know what that feels like. I'm like third generation of displaced people from Palestine. My parents also escaped the war in Lebanon, so like there's two generations of different displacement, and I lived a lot of my adult life in the United States, and I made homes in places that I lived. And on some level, I wrote about this. It's not where you live, but it's what lives inside of you. You have to deal with that. I wrote Basma because that day was a lot of fun.
Well, you should say what it means.
Basma means smile in Arabic. So the day we spent together for Ben's birthday, it was just fun. It felt like our moment out of solitary confinement. So I went back home on a high, and I said, I'm just gonna write a happy piece of music. And I sat down and I wrote it. And I usually don't write happy music. Like the music I write is not very happy. So when I do get inspired to write happy music, it's a rare thing.
The first piece that I brought was an adaptation of Parviz Mishkatian's Nava, which is actually just the name of a mode in Persian classical music. And it's a really, really interesting rhythmic piece that was one of my favorites listening to when I was growing up and playing music. And I was just very curious to see how it would sound in this ensemble. And when we started practicing, I just quickly notated it and just wanted to see what these guys would do with it. And it just became something so different than what it was. And it turned into something which was beautiful and kind of set, the tone of how we would interpret, I think, even like traditional things, kind of just make it our own. We're in a new place and we have the opportunity to explore and create.